Picture this. It's 1776. A farmer grabs his musket ready to defend his family and his freedoms against a distant king's tyranny. Fast forward to today, your right to protect yourself hangs in a delicate balance challenged by lawmakers, bureaucrats, and courtrooms. This is Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? In this episode, we unpack the Second Amendment, the ultimate safeguard of your freedoms, through a libertarian lens. I'm Jeff, and today we're diving deep into what the right to keep and bear arms really means, why it's under siege, and how the courts have shaped its fate. From the founding fathers to modern day battles, we'll break it all down in 5 gripping segments. So grab your coffee or your concealed carry and let's get started. The founders' firepower, decoding the Second Amendment. Let's start at the beginning. The Second Amendment itself reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That sounds pretty simple, right? But every word's been debated to death. From the libertarian perspective, this isn't just a law, it's a manifesto for individual freedoms. Now, let's break this down with me, as I want to make sure we get this right so there's no questions. The well-regulated militia part, that's not about a government-run army. Back in the 1700s, a militia was everyday folks, farmers, blacksmiths, you and me, armed and ready to defend their communities. Regulated meant trained, not controlled by some bureaucrat in a wig. Libertarians, we love this. It's about empowering citizens to check government power, not handing the state a monopoly on force. Then we get to the necessary to the security of a free state. This screams distrust of central power. The founders knew standing armies could crush liberty, so they wanted an armed populace as a backup plan. Think of it as the ultimate insurance policy against tyranny. Now, the meat and potatoes. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. This is crystal clear. Individuals, not just militias, have the right to own and carry weapons. Keep means possess. Bear means to carry. And arms, that's not just muskets. It's anything you can use to defend yourself. Finally, shall not be infringed. That's the founder saying, hands off, government. Libertarians see this as sacred, as do I. It's about self-reliance, personal responsibility, and telling the state to stay in its lane. But as you'll see, the government's been itching to meddle for 2 centuries. Up next, we'll travel to the 1800s to see how early courts fumbled this right. Spoiler, it wasn't pretty. The dark days, early courts, and libertarian nightmares. Now, welcome to the 19th century, where the Second Amendment took some serious hits. Let's talk about 3 Supreme Court cases that make libertarians cringe. Cruikshank, Presser, and Miller. One of these will be from the 20th century. First, United States v. Cruikshank in 1876. After the Civil War, the KKK was disarming freed black citizens, and the court had a chance to stand up for their gun rights. Instead, it ruled the Second Amendment only limits the federal government, not states or private thugs. And I hate this, and so do all libertarians. Sure, it said gun rights are inherent, not granted by the Constitution, but letting states restrict arms left vulnerable people defenseless. That's not liberty. It's called selective freedom. Next, Presser v. Illinois in 1886. A guy named Herman Presser wanted to parade with his armed private militia, but Illinois said, no way, get a permit. The court backed the state, saying the Second Amendment doesn't stop states from regulating private groups. For libertarians, this is a double whammy. It kneecaps the right to organize for self-defense and gives states too much power. Tyranny thrives when citizens can't band together. Then the United States v. Miller in 1939. Jack Miller got busted for carrying an unregistered sawed-off shotgun in violation of the National Firearms Act. The court upheld the law, saying the Second Amendment only protects militia-related weapons. Libertarians call foul this collective rights nonsense ties your gun rights to militia service, ignoring self-defense. Plus, it let the feds regulate guns through taxes and red tape, hardly shall not be infringed. These cases show a judiciary cozying up to state power, shrinking the Second Amendment into a shadow of its original glory. Libertarians see this as a betrayal of individual sovereignty. But hope is on the horizon. Next, we'll hit the modern era where the courts finally started to get it right. Heller and MacDonald, the libertarian renaissance, and it was a renaissance for freedom. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the Second Amendment gets a libertarian glow-up with two game-changing cases. District of Columbia v. Heller and McDonald v. City of Chicago. Yes, we all know how these cases go. In 2008, Heller tackled DC's insane handgun ban, which also required guns in homes to be locked up unless for self-defense. Dick Heller, a security guard, said, "Enough." The Supreme Court agreed 5-4, a slim majority in most cases, ruling the Second Amendment protects your individual rights to keep guns for self-defense, no militia required. Justice Scalia's opinion was a libertarian love letter. He dug into history, showing the founders meant for you to protect yourself. The ban was toast. Libertarians, we cheered. This was the court saying your freedom to defend your life isn't up for debate. But there's a catch, as there always is. The court allowed some regulations, like bans on felons or guns in school. Libertarians squinted this, worried it's a loophole for future restrictions, which it could very well be. Then in 2010, McDonald took it nationwide. Otis McDonald, a Chicago resident, challenged his city's handgun ban. The court again, slim majority, 5-4, said the Second Amendment applies to states through the 14th Amendment. Chicago's ban got the boot, and every state had to respect your gun rights. For libertarians, this was huge. State governments can't dodge the Constitution anymore. It's about universal liberty, not just federal limits. These cases are the high watermark for libertarian values, individual rights, self-reliance, and a government told to back off. But the fight's not over. Next, we'll see how the court expanded gun rights even further and where it also stumbled over itself. Brune and beyond, public carry, and new battles to be fought. We need to keep our freedoms. By the 2020s, the Second Amendment was flexing its muscles thanks to New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Brune in 2022. New York had a sneaky law requiring you to prove a special need to carry a gun in public. The court, 6-3, not a slim majority, said no. The Second Amendment protects your right to carry for self-defense. Period. This was a libertarian home run. The court set a new rule. Gun laws must match the historical tradition of regulation, not some judge's opinion on public safety. That's originalism at its finest. Stick to what the founders meant. The ruling also okayed shall issue licensing, like background checks, but libertarians, we're not really thrilled about that. Any red tape smells like government overreach to us. Then came Santino v. Massachusetts in 2016, a quick win for stun guns. The court said the Second Amendment covers all bearable arms, even modern ones like tasers. Libertarians, we nodded approvingly. Your right to self-defense evolves with tech, just like the First Amendment evolves with technology. But not every case is a slam dunk. In 2024, United States v. Ramini upheld a law disarming people under domestic violence restraining order. Now, libertarians, we get the logic. Nobody wants abusers armed, but worry about due process. Restraining orders can be issued without a trial, and that's a slippery slope into stripping rights. And that's not wrong, if you think about it. And in 2025, Bondi v. Vanderstock let the ATF regulate gun part kits like they were firearms. Libertarians, we hate this. It's bureaucracy creeping into your garage, limiting your ability to build your own tools of freedom. So you're asking, Jeff, where do we go from here? So let's wrap this up with a libertarian call to arms. And this is not just for libertarians. This is for people who love freedom. The future of freedom, a libertarian call to action. So what's the big picture? The Second Amendment is your shield against tyranny and your ticket to self-reliance. From Heller to Bruen, the courts have clawed back your rights. But cases like Rahimi and Bondi remind us freedom's never safe. Libertarians know the state doesn't give up power easily, and every regulation is a step towards controlling you. And it's done with emotional manipulation. And here's the libertarian angle. Your right to keep and bear arms isn't just about hunting or sport. It's about saying, I'm in charge of my life. It's about telling the government, you work for me, not the other way around. The founders didn't trust kings, and we shouldn't trust bureaucrats. And armed populace keeps the state honest. But there's more work to do. Presumptive lawful regulations like background checks or sensitive places could grow into full-blown bans if we're not vigilant. Emerging tech like 3D printed guns is the next battleground. Libertarians demand the right to innovate without Big Brother's permission because we don't need it. So here's your call to action. Don't just listen, act. Join pro-gun groups like the Libertarian Party or the Second Amendment Foundation. Write to your lawmakers. Educate your friends about why gun rights are liberty's backbone, and keep learning. Subscribe to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, and iHeartRadio. We're dropping truth bombs every week. I'm Jeff, and this has been Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? I want to thank you for watching. So thanks for tuning in to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, or iHeartRadio. Share it with your friends, families, or fellow freedom enthusiasts, anyone eager to test their libertarian knowledge. Drop a comment or review to let us know your thoughts, and stay tuned for more episodes where we challenge the mind and defend liberty. Until next time, keep your thinking sharp, your rights strong, and stay accountable.